Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making,
and answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spenceley Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
You thought I was going to say good morning, Vietnam, but I'm not. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 77. We're up in Toronto. Today is known as Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. But here in Ohio, today is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day, frozen custard.
I was really hoping you were going to say frozen pizza.
Oh.
What is frozen custards like? Frozen yogurt? It's actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds pretty nice. I do like custard.
That was actually my first job. Was a frozen custard place called Huith's Frozen Custard. Yeah.
You're making this up. You've never talked about this before.
Yeah, it was my first job, man. Worked at it's basically ice cream. But
your first job was the shoe store, no?
No, that was my second job.
Okay.
Shoe store was the second job. I didn't work at the shoe store until I was in college. I
had to go back and rework your biography that I've been writing now.
Yeah.
It's going to require months of rewrites, Eric. Months.
I have a big foot obsession. That's why I got into the shoe game.
For anybody who was listening to the YouTube live stream before, we were talking about, what was that TLC show? My Weird Fetish or whatever?
My Strange Obsession.
My Strange Obsession, those, yeah. So I guess yours is feet. Which, now that I think about it, it's like, I'm never going to look at a person at a shoe store the same way.
Oh, yeah.
They must all have foot fetishes. Because what else would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past somebody. If you did have a foot fetish, I mean, that would be the perfect way.
Right?
To have society, like, just be like, man, this guy, he's really good at his job.
He sized my shoe perfectly, and he gave me a little foot massage, too. It was quite nice.
Wait, what about the people that do, like, the manicures on your feet?
Oh, yeah. Pedicure.
Yeah.
Pedicure. Have you ever had a pedicure?
No, but I'd be down for it. I told Miranda, I was like, she's like, would you ever go with me? I'd go, sure.
Yeah, Sophie keeps trying to, every, once a year, she'll ask me. She'll be like, I'm going to go get a pedicure. You want one? I'll be like, yeah, I'll come next time.
I mean, you're not going to
get the one with the fish?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. That would creep me out a little bit. I'm not sure I'd be okay with that.
Like the ones at the mall kiosks where they go and like eat the skin off your feet and stuff.
They have those at the mall? I thought that was like a special place you'd have to go to. Seems unhygienic to have it at the mall.
And they got them at the mall.
Huh. All right. Well, I don't know where we go from here.
Possible titles.
Yeah. Oh, you ready to have possible titles? The one where they have their feet eaten by fish at the mall?
Where they have fish eat their foot skin or whatever.
Okay. The one where they get a pedicure from a fish.
That's not bad. You want to hear something really gross?
Yes, please.
And
always.
So I had I know he doesn't listen to this, so I don't even mind saying it. I had a roommate that I lived with after college, and it was me, Miranda, and this fella.
Oh.
And I didn't believe it the first time. You know, I was out doing something. Miranda's at home, and, hanging out with our roommate, watching TV or whatever. And she goes, I noticed that he sits on the couch and crosses his legs. And I was like, okay, nothing weird about that, right? And she goes, and then he kind of picks at his toenails. I was like, well, some people instead of using nail clippers, they just pick at their nails and then peel them off, whatever. Mm-hmm. And she goes, no. He picks at his toes and then eats, I can't make this up, he eats the skin, the dead skin off of his toes, as a little snack. And then I was like, you're making this up. And then she goes, no, I swear. it wasn't more than like a week or so later that I was sitting next to him and we were just like watching football or something. I saw him do it.
Oh,
And then
I'm really regretting saying yes when you said you want to hear something nasty.
And then I'm also really good friends with his cousin. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's been doing that his entire life. I was like, that's repulsive.
So do you think it's just like a failure? Like nobody grabbed a hold of him at age 5 and was like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah. And like, even I was like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, what? Because you're eating your foot skin. He goes,
you don't eat your foot skin?
He's like, oh, whatever, man.
You ever offered him pork rinds?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least this is seasoned.
Yeah. Well, enough foot fetish talk. We're going to get taken off the air.
Yeah.
A couple of things I wanted to address really quick. Okay. First of all, I think 2, maybe 3 weeks back, me being in a big rush going somewhere, excuse me, I accidentally uploaded the after show as the main show.
Yeah. Okay, so I was talking to Jason Grissom about this.
Yeah.
Did you accidentally upload the wrong one, or did I mislabel the episodes?
No, I think I just uploaded the wrong one.
Okay, because I did have a moment where I accidentally, and it was 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, or whatever it was. It was a little while ago where I downloaded them to edit them, and I mixed up the names when I downloaded them, but I thought I fixed it, but I was like, okay, maybe I didn't fix it, so we'll just go ahead and say that one was your fault then.
Oh yeah, I'll totally take the blame. But anybody who like signed into the show and they're like, what the hell? Like, what happened? That was the after show.
A little bonus.
And if you're interested in more of that, you can sign up for that at patreon.com/offthecut podcast. But no, like 2 or 3 days later, I ended up fixing it. So if you missed that episode, that's what happens.
There was a special limited time teaser for the after show. That's what that was. That was intentional.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we're due for giving out a free after show. I think we've done that like 2 or 3 before. And maybe we'll do one of those coming up. We'll see.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Anything else? Oh, we should address what happened last week.
Yes. Okay. Basically, I accidentally scheduled something. So I had to go to the next city over from Toronto, which is called Hamilton. I went over to Hamilton to look after my nephew, essentially.
Oh.
And I completely forgot. So his parents were out of town. This is Sophie's brother and sister-in-law. He had a short film that he wrote, directed, and produced that was accepted in a film festival. So he had to go to another city for a couple days to, be there as, the creator of the short. So we went out to do, like a trial run of child rearing and look after her nephew for a few days. Yeah, it's a good time. But unfortunately, when we do the podcast is right when he goes to bed. I didn't want to bring all the gear with me, and then we tried to reschedule for different days, and we were just busy every other day of the week. So, yeah,
it's a reality. It happens, and I can tell you what. The Green Suiters podcast wouldn't even apologize. They just tell you to F off.
That's true. That's true.
And we don't do that here.
They might even laugh at you after they told
you. They will.
Like, get the F out of here, you stupid kid.
They are actually, if you didn't know this, the guys at the Green Suiters podcast, they're the people who steal people's lunch money.
Bullies. Certified bullies.
Yeah. And we don't stand for that here. We are authentic, polite people. But actually, this is completely irrelevant. But I had written it down, and I wanted to hear your feedback about this, Zach.
Okay.
When you drive, and it was more of a shower thought. And sometimes I write these things down because I think they'd be good podcast talking notes. When you drive and you go to the grocery store, you go to Home Depot, you go wherever you're going, do you go nose in at the parking space or do you back it in?
Depends.
Oh, okay. I want to hear.
how much am I planning on buying? Like, for instance, the other day I went to the garden center and I
Sure.
was going to get some bags of soil. So I
Right.
went nose in
Oh,
because
yeah.
that way the back of I just drop the tailgate on the truck and I load it right in.
Right.
But if I'm going to the store and I'm just going to like run in and grab like a drink, then I'm going to back in so that
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a nice easy exit.
I fully agree. And every time I go somewhere, like, I got the Civic, I can whip that thing around like nobody's business wherever I am. It's 1,000 times easier to just back in a parking spot. And then when you're ready to rock, you go zoop and you get
That's
out.
right.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret about driving a big truck. I think it's
Okay.
actually easier to back into a spot with the truck because
And
for
whip it.
whatever reason, I feel like I can swing a tighter corner when I'm backing up.
Well, you can because
The back end's longer.
your back end
Yeah.
is your pivot point.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
And you've got more distance between your back tire and that back bumper.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of the time when I'm going nose in to a parking spot in the truck, I'll actually get jammed up.
Oh, getting a jam.
It's just like too tight of a corner to make in a 18-foot long vehicle or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of
yeah.
the time I'll just back in usually I'll just back in.
But like, is this like Miranda's like, oh, you're such a dad for backing in. I'm like, I'm being reasonable.
Yeah, I'd say you're
Right?
being reasonable too. I think some people have it in their heads that it's easier to go head in to a parking spot. But I don't.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree
find
too.
It may be easier to go head in, but it's harder to back out of a parking spot than it is
That's
to
true.
drive
Oh,
straight
yeah.
out of a parking spot.
That's true. That's
I've
very
backed
true.
into a spot for as long as I've driven.
You have to. It's a power move, no doubt.
Yeah. And here's a bonus. If you're at like a big strip mall or something and you're backing into a spot that's like right adjacent to like one of those big plate glass windows.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're backing, you look in your rear view mirror, you get to see if one of your taillights is out. Because you just look through the rear view mirror, look at the reflection on the plate glass window, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see, I can see all my brake lights right now.
Zach, that is a level of thinking that I don't think I ever would have gotten to, but I appreciate you for that.
Dude, that's a pro dad move right there. You throw that back in Miranda's face next time.
Like, how else am I supposed to know if my taillights are out? Do you get a warning light on your instrument cluster if a taillight's out?
I don't think so. You get the thing where, and I don't even know if this is true on modern vehicles, but you used to, back in the day, it would start blinking really quickly if one of your things was out.
Get
But I don't know if that's
rapid
true
clicking.
if you have LED lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the LEDs, because there's a cluster of them, the
Mm-hmm.
idea is one of them will go out before the whole thing goes out. So
That's
that gives
true.
you time.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, I think LEDs are supposed to last like 20 years or something like that. So,
I don't know. The other thing, here's another question. As I've been perusing vehicles, I've been more aware of things around me, right? One of the things I've noticed, it seems like some cars now, when people put on their brakes, it makes like what's they call the third light, the one that's like in the middle, like higher up by the dash. It goes like flash, 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 flash. Is that like a standard feature on cars now? Or is it like a special bulb that people are getting?
I think back in the day when I was building motorcycles, people used to do that. There would be like a little relay that you could wire into your brake light, and people would do that as like a modification because their thinking was that it was more noticeable.
Yeah,
especially
like
on a motorcycle
flash, flash,
where
flash, flash.
you only have like one small brake light.
Yeah.
It'd be like a real quick strobe to kind of get people's attention that, hey, I'm slowing down. I've never seen a car do that from the factory that I know of, so I would assume that if you're seeing that, it's somebody doing it custom, but I could be wrong.
But it's on like it's like on like a Kia minivan. I'm like, nobody's customizing their Kia
That's a good
minivan.
point. That's a good point. Maybe it's a new safety feature then.
I don't know,
They're
but
just hacking the Kias.
Yeah.
the Kia mod community is probably deep on those minivans.
There was a BMW that used to do it like back in the 90s, and the harder you pressed on the brake, the brighter the lights would get. the brake light would get. So if you just press lightly, it would come on kind of dim, and then you press really hard, it'd be really bright. So people behind you could see how hard you were braking.
Or didn't know if you were braking at all.
Yeah, true.
I need to air a grievance about brakes.
Oh, okay.
If you're one of the people who blacks out their taillights, you're an asshole. Like,
what about just a little tint? Is that okay?
If I can't see your damn taillights, you're an asshole.
That's ridiculous.
Like, I get the ones that are like fogged or smoked or whatever because you got a black car. Great, I can still see them. But like
the one where it's like a pair of sunglasses over the entire brake light. Yeah, it's insane.
Like, have you seen the one that's it's all blacked out, but then they got like the Chevy logo cut into it?
Oh yeah.
That's a classy gentleman. When you see that, you're like, I bet that guy eats caviar. He's probably wearing a monocle while he's driving.
I bet it's the complete opposite.
I know. That's right.
I've also seen the Volkswagen Beetles that have like the flowers over the taillights too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are hot.
The
eyelashes.
Yeah.
Oh, the eyelashes. That drives me. That's such a mom move. That's like a granola mom move, I think. There was a Mini. The Austin Mini had the shape of half of the Union Jack on the brake lights.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, I guess, a throwback to Mini's English heritage, even though it's a German company now.
Huh.
Have you seen, I think it was, I don't remember, I think it might have been a Kia, I don't know, but there was this person selling these little, what they called bling rings that go over the keyhole where you put your keys into the ignition.
Okay.
Oh.
And because it was made out of metal, it was blocking the transmission of the keys to the car, and you couldn't start the car.
That's
Yeah.
The little metal
hilarious.
ring was in the way.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, there's like a little RFID chip in a lot of car keys. And it's like an anti-theft thing, so that you can't just jam a screwdriver into the ignition cylinder and twist it that way. You need to pair that RFID chip in the key, like the key fob, with the one in the steering column in order to get it to turn over. But yeah, it sounds like it blocked that, so it was like a little... That's
Just
funny.
like a little metal ring.
That's nuts. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Well, I had a question. I don't. Somebody asked. I think it was on Instagram, and I forgot who it was. I didn't write it down, but I thought it was a really good question. I thought it'd be a really good topic of conversation tonight.
Let's do it.
So I didn't write down exactly what it was. I'm paraphrasing it. It was basically like, what obstacles do the two of us constantly face in the shop? More specifically, it was like, while you're building stuff. And the idea was like, do you ever like not have the right tool or accessory for something and always have to do a workaround?
Yeah.
And then once you finally go out and spend the money, you're like, why the hell did I take so long to fix that? Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
And
it can be like you solved it already. That's fine too.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like that. That happens very frequently to me, and I try and think of it beforehand. So I'm trying to think of like a good example of it. But I'm just always kind of on the lookout for parts of projects that I am consistently hitting a roadblock with. I mean, the classic one is like sanding. Like, it just, nobody really likes sanding that much. It takes a lot of time. So I went out and bought a 6-inch sander that sands way faster. I'm trying to think. One... I'm so guilty of having like a mismatch of drill bits and impact bits and like Allen keys and stuff like that. And so one day I just went out and bought a complete set of everything. Like new drill bits, new impact bits, new like a Swiss Army knife with all the different Allen key heads.
Oh yeah.
Because those are the types of things that I would just spend... I would tear apart the shop being like, I need a number 2 Phillips head impact bit right now, and I can't find one anywhere.
Right.
And now I'm really religious about like take it out of the gun, put it back in the slot, like make sure it's there for next time. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any.
Ooh,
better
that's a good
names.
one though. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not. It
tips
wasn't
and stuff.
expensive either. It was like $40 to get like everything completely outfitted.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. The one thing that came up in my mind, and is one that I'm still battling, is when you said Sanders. Okay. I have a 6-inch Rotex,
Yeah.
and I also have a 5-inch like Makita, whatever the hell, random orbit sander. I have so much effing 5-inch sandpaper discs that in my head, I'm like, well, shouldn't I use these? Or do I just get rid of the 5-inch sander and then whenever I need to hand sand something, use the 5-inch discs? Or do I just do some like massive giveaway thing and be like, here's just a boatload of 5-inch paper?
That's the one. Giveaway. Just do like find somebody in your area who would appreciate the 5-inch sander. Like, here's a 5-inch sander, and also here's a whole bunch of discs to go with it.
Because it works great.
Dude, I have a drawer full of 5-inch sanders, and I've not touched them in 2 years. I had my friend wanted me to cut some shelves for him, so I brought him over to the shop. I was trying to pawn off tools on him. I'm like, dude, take a sander. Just take a sander.
Right.
I was like, here, take a tool bag. Like, it was pretty comical. I couldn't get him to take anything. It's really annoying. People are really reluctant to take free tools sometimes.
I think people just think it's trash. Like, people are like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to give it to somebody. And like, I've given stuff to friends before, and I'm like, hey, listen, I need to get rid of this, but I physically can't throw it in the trash. So please take it from me. And if you don't want it, just throw it in the trash and don't tell me. It'll make me feel so much better.
I have a box in the shop that's like literally like tools to give away, like extra tools.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself I'm gonna like put them up on eBay or something like that, but just whenever somebody comes to the shop, I'm like, take some of these tools.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
Bring them to Workbench Con next year.
Those people don't want them.
Nobody wants a 5-inch sander. But I was working on sanding down the big panel for like the retrying the power carve table thing, right? And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna sand it to like 120 before I power carve it, because you're not gonna be carving everything.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it with the 5-inch sander. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, just what a waste of time.
Yeah, you're like your 6-inch sander is looking over from the shelf jealously at you. Like, what am I? Shop litter?
And I've got the Rotex that I could like sand that whole thing in a minute and a half with each grit.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm doing the 5-inch sander and I'm, going slow as hell, and it's like 5 minutes on each grit. I'm like, what am I doing? But
in a similar vein to my last thing, just like cheap little things that you always find yourself looking for around the shop, like tape measures, safety glasses. Just
get a million.
Just buy a bunch of them, scatter them around,
and
that way you're never looking for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one at
ahead.
every cut station. I have like a tape measure, safety glasses, and like a little respirator at every station in my shop. Yeah.
One of the things I've started doing my new table saw is like on the fence.
Yeah.
I like throw like a bunch of pencils. I throw like one of the woodpecker's little 3-inch square thingies, so I can, if it has like built-in setup blocks in it. Like, I have tape measures there. I have like a classic pencil with an eraser on it. So if I have tiny parts, I can use that for like some little grip and stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
And they're all over the place. Like, they're on the floor. I just have pencils and stuff. Because like, I'll look and I'll be like, there we go. There's one. Like,
when I said scatter them around, you took that quite literally.
No, mine are literally on the floor. I just get mad. I'm filming something. I get mad and I just take a pencil and jettison it across the shop. Be like,
yeah.
Damn it. I was enjoying my music and then I got hit with this stupid Grain Suitors podcast. Available on Apple and Spotify, by the way.
Yeah. Wherever good podcasts are found.
Yeah. So, okay. Sanders, one that I battled. You said Bit Tips was one that you battled, but like Bit Tips, drill bits that you battled. Any others you can think of?
There must be some. I feel like I'm really letting this question down. I feel like I have a better answer for this.
Not
got
being
anything, Derek?
precious with consumables.
Oh
Not
yeah,
being precious with your
yeah.
consumables. You got blue tape, and you're going to use it, just go for it. Use it. You got gloves, and
Yeah.
you're going to use them, just use them. Don't worry about going
yeah,
through them.
yeah.
They can all be
Ooh.
replaced.
Oh, dude,
Another
I
one.
definitely flip nitrile gloves inside out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, really?
really?
Uh-huh. And then I take my hand out of it. I'm like, God damn it!
Dude, yeah,
You just stick your hand into a bunch of like half cured epoxy.
yeah.
Well, because Kristen from Total Boat won't send them out anymore.
What,
She's
the
like
gloves?
people. Yeah, she's like people abuse the gloves.
What, would they send you free gloves?
Oh, they'd send you anything on their website.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's one
Damn, I
time I
should have
got
hooked up
8
with that.
boxes of gloves.
I've been paying for nitrile gloves like an idiot.
They're expensive, man. They're like
Yeah,
$25
they-
a box.
I know. It's what does that work out to? I guess that's like 25 cents. No, wait, that math doesn't check out.
So
Somebody
you
in
get
the,
about 100 pairs for about $25, right?
25 cents of a glove. Yeah.
yeah, 25 cents a glove. Oh, that does work
Or a
out.
pair,
That does work
yeah.
out. Yeah.
A pair. But yeah, okay. As soon as you say it like that, you're like, Eric, stop. Throw it out as a quarter.
Yeah.
Like,
That and
Like-
sandpaper.
Sandpaper,
Don't be afraid
yeah.
to throw it away.
Also, little mixing buckets. I went on Amazon. I just ordered a stack of 50 mixing buckets, and they have like
Yeah.
common ratios on the
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of them and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like when you're mixing up epoxy or whatever, just once you're done with it, throw it away. I know it's a little bit wasteful, but the alternative is like trying to clean epoxy
Oh.
out of like a little bucket or something.
Hell no.
It's just exactly.
because then you just like, if you poured a little too much, you just leave it in a cup, let it harden, throw it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
But those
Yeah, 'cause-
those you can get from Total Boat. You order epoxy, they send you too many of those cups.
Oh, I'm there for it. I like that.
Yeah. What was the other one I was thinking of? Okay, sandpaper.
Mhm.
Going back to sandpaper, but you're talking about consumables. Serious question, and you guys will probably make fun of me if you know the answer. How do I know it's time to change sandpaper?
I don't know. Yeah, it's not a dumb question at all. Usually, I just take my hand and like run it over. Is this, like, does it still feel kind of sandy? If so, then I keep using it.
Yeah. But it's not as sharp as it initially was. But it's like you're like, it's still pretty rough. Like it's gotta be doing something to the wood.
Well, that's the thing.
If I
is
feel
like,
if I feel like the sanding's taking too long and I swap out the disc and it does a little better, then I know I've
Yeah.
done the right thing.
well,
Yeah.
the thing is, like, nothing feels as sharp as unused sandpaper, and
Yeah.
like sandpaper gets to steady state after like 5 to 10 minutes of using it. I find.
A steady
You know what I
state,
mean?
you said?
Yeah. Well, like.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of how the best way to describe this. Assuming, okay, say you take a new sanding pad or piece of sandpaper, it's at like 100% when you start using it, like maximum sharpness.
Yeah.
Then you use it for like 5 to 10 minutes, it gets to like 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like a very slow drop off from that 80.
You're right.
It's like a lithium battery. It just
Yeah.
goes and then it's nothing.
Exactly. Then it's like, it's good for a while. I actually find with sanding discs, usually the disc will like tear or in some other way deform before it stops actually being able to sand.
Yeah, truly,
Like,
once
no-
I start to see the edges wearing out, that's when I replace it.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably replaced my sandpaper way faster than that.
Yeah.
I'm
mean,
not kidding. But it's honestly because I have so much of it in the 5-inch. I'm like, F it, I'll just get a new one.
Yeah. When I got my 6-inch sander, because I got it from, so Mark from Remarkable Woodworks hooked me up with one, the Merca Duros. And when I got it, they gave me like a box of 50 discs in every single grit they had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I just have this big collection, and I'm just dreading the day when it runs out because I'll have to start buying my own sandpaper again. It's so luxurious to just go in there and just know that I have like, big stack of every single one.
Dude, what you really need to get is go on Festool and get their sustainer organizer that comes outfitted with all their sandpaper. It's actually a pretty good deal. And you get all of your sandpaper at once, and it comes in an organizer bin.
That's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice, dude. I've got it. And for the 6-inch, I like it a lot.
I have it for the 3-inch one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to get that sandpaper the J-Cats likes. I've been meaning that's like being like on my to buy list forever.
The Cubitron stuff?
Yeah,
The purple one with the little
Yeah.
zigzags? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, the one where he did it in his test, and it was like the best one out of every single.
So I'll give
Sandpaper.
my feedback on it. Flat surfaces, fantastic. As soon as you start doing it on anything that has like an edge, or like you can stand like over a dado or something, if it catches anything, it tears really easily. But
Yes.
if you're doing tabletop, fantastic.
Okay. Hey, you might want to check the connection on your microphone
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
It's been a little wonky.
Keep
We're
dipping
losing
in
your
the
audio a
water.
little bit. Yeah, I use like I was saying, I use that Merca Arbanet, whatever it's called, and I find the same thing. Anytime I'm standing over a dado or anything where there's a sharp edge, it can often get caught on it, and it just tears itself. Give us a little test. Let's see if your mic's fixed. No? Oh,
He's
no, we
playing
can't hear you at
Frozen.
all. He's not frozen. He's there, but
He's playing.
yeah, it's
There we go.
no.
Kind of.
I mean, I can hear you tapping on it.
What the hell?
Okay, now you seem okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
That
I think
it?
you're back.
Can you hear me
So,
blowing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is this better now?
No, you're definitely going through the right mic.
Okay. Welcome back to the Green Suiters podcast.
Do you think they have less technical issues or more technical issues than us?
I mean, they're a bunch of old men.
Okay, some more.
They don't know how
Do you
to
think
do
they
it.
care if they have technical issues?
I don't
Maybe
think they know.
Oh man.
But you were talking sandpaper. Sorry, before
Yes.
I rudely cut out.
Yeah, we were talking about sandpaper tearing.
Yeah. I mean, I still have. So I have a bunch of that purple 3M extracts stuff that J-Cats sent me. Like I said, it works really well on flat surfaces. Don't love it for curves. I also have a bunch of the blue Festool stuff, like their
Yeah.
regular sandpaper.
Yeah.
That works pretty well.
Yeah.
And then I also have this green stuff called Serious Grit. I think I have a code for them.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever sold any of their commission stuff, but honestly, their paper works really well and it's pretty cheap.
Does that 3M stuff, does that come in 6-inch?
Yes, it does.
What was it called?
3M X Extract. It's like the purple. It looks like it's got like little zigzags
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
Does J-Cat sell that on the store?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll order some from him.
yeah. It's pretty good price if I'm not mistaken. It's like
Yeah, I remember that being
5 cents a sheet.
Yeah, I remember that being like a big thing. It was one of the cheaper ones too in his testing.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Oh, they sell it on Amazon. Oh.
It's cheaper on Amazon, but if you want to support J-Cats, it's like $2 more to go through him or something.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you might have to pay like import fees and all that kind of stuff and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Canada, am I right?
It's
Well,
brutal.
It all goes back to Air Canada, anyways.
Air Canada.
Yeah.
Don't fly
Yeah.
Air Canada.
Don't
As
fly Air
Randy
Canada.
Wilson in the live chat says, don't fly Air Canada.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate the support.
But so I was trying to cleverly segue before I lost my connection or whatever was going on to obstacles that I was facing. And what I was trying to segue it in, but I did a poor job, was there's a lot of like just small things where I'm like, I wish I had a way to like organize this tiny thing. I wish I had this little piece that could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it just drives you nuts. And that's why I'm so pumped that my first 3D printer is coming, I think, tomorrow.
Mine's coming on the end of the week, I think. I got a DHL. Is it coming from
DHL?
DHL?
Yeah. From Hong
Yeah.
Kong somewhere. So Zach and I are getting
Yeah.
the same 3D printer.
Yeah. We are getting the Creality K1 Max. Which,
So, Is that a good one? Like, I know nothing. They were like, "Do you want this printer?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like $1,000. It's got to be decent."
Yeah, so Creality is very well known for their Ender line of 3D printers, which
Ooh,
is
I've
kind of
heard
like
that
the
word before.
yeah, it's kind of like the entry level. It's about $300. They're pretty popular, but they're also known to be a bit finicky. Like you have to spend some time and get it to work.
Okay.
Whereas this new one, the K1 series that they're coming out with, is supposed to be much more user friendly.
Okay.
But it's like we're going to get some of the first units, so I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows whether or not this one's any good just yet. Although I was talking to Brad from Fix This Build That, and he has the regular K1, and he was saying he likes it quite a bit.
Okay.
So things are looking good.
I'm excited for myself because one, I have never ever in my life used a 3D printer.
Yeah.
I am not familiar with 3D printing whatsoever. And I'm specifically not going out and like looking at reviews, looking at like exactly how do I set this thing up. I want to know from someone who has never used one before, like how fast can I get set up with this thing, and like to the point where I'm like, oh, I can print something. I'm excited to see.
I think I would suspect it going from like setup to your first print, maybe like a couple hours.
Okay.
Like I'm sure it'll probably come with some when I got my Bamboo Labs printers, it had like a bunch of things in it. Like it had a bunch of like 3D models in it that you could print as test prints right away.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do something like that, I don't know, maybe even like 15 minutes. Like literally just plug it in, put in your filament and do one of the test ones. But to do like one of your own creations, probably like an hour, 2 hours, something like that. It'll be surprisingly quick, I think.
Okay.
So pretty plug and play.
Pretty plug and play at this point, yeah. I mean,
So
that being
does
said, I
does
don't
it
have
come
this
with
printer yet,
filament?
so it should. I think they'll probably, again, when I got my Bamboo Labs one, they sent me like a box of filament too, just to like kind of get me up and running. So
Right, and then I'm sure I'll
assume
have
they'll
to
do the
buy
same.
something online.
Yeah, but you can get it on Amazon. You can get it wherever. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty ubiquitous at this point.
So then, so teach me, learn me 3D printers.
Learn me 3D printers.
So
Okay.
I get a 3D printer.
Yeah.
I know I have to buy filament, which for everybody out there is basically like think of it as like ink, but it's like
Yeah.
a spool of plastic. It looks like weed whacker line, basically.
Yeah, here, hold on. Let me grab a spool.
So
Ugh,
I
for the
know
live stream
that you
people.
can get different plastics.
Yes.
Is there like a table I can look up that's like this plastic is really good for this? This plastic is good for this. Like
There is a great YouTube video. It's not really a table. Hold on, let me look this up. I was talking about this the other day. Sorry, keep
yeah. Keep talking.
things-
So I know that like
Yeah.
you can get some filaments that would be like super rigid but can be brittle. But then you can get
Yes.
some that are like for a product that you do want it to have a little bit of flex, so that's like a
Yes.
little bit more elasticy in a sense.
So there's a YouTube video called "I Tested Almost Every Filament on Amazon" by Zach Friedman.
Okay.
And he does a great job of just explaining the pros and the cons of like, my God, the video probably has like 20 different types of filaments on it.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's 42 minutes long, so you might
Oh my
want to
God.
skip around a little bit. But I will say that basically when you're first starting with 3D printing, the kind of easy mode is PLA. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
I've heard
video
of
right
that.
there.
I've heard of that.
So PLA is kind of like your standard. It's cheap. It's ubiquitous. Most printers print it without any problem. You don't have to do anything crazy to get it going. And it's decently strong. I wouldn't put it in I wouldn't make a car part out of it.
Okay.
But if you're just looking for like a little jig or a little doodad around the shop, it'll probably get the job done. And then
if you wanted to make some like half-inch spacer blocks or whatever, like go for that.
Exactly. It's cheap.
Okay.
It's easy to work with. It's not the strongest, but it's also not like crazy brittle or anything like that. Yeah.
So you can get like Kevlar ones, can't you? Or like something that have like fiberglass or something in them.
Well, and that's where it starts to get a little bit weird, right? Like there's carbon fiber reinforced PLA. So they'll have like, and then there's also like PLA plus, and there's all these things where they start alloying. I mean, alloying isn't really the right term, but they'll start mixing in aggregates that make the plastic stronger.
Okay.
So you start with a base plastic, and then you can kind of add things to it to change the characteristics of it. They even have PLA that has wood fiber in it, so that you can stain it with stains.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So
That's neat.
There's these base plastics, and then there's almost like modifiers that they mix into them. So it can get away from you pretty quickly. But
So learn about all of the different filaments, but unless I'm making something where the structural soundness of the piece is super, super critical, when I first start out, just kind of buy whatever is cheap just to kind of screw around with it. And then once I'm like, okay, it needs to be this specific strength or like have this characteristic, then I would get a specific roll.
Exactly. Buy yourself like a couple rolls of PLA. Start with those. And then when you run into a scenario where you're like, okay, the PLA is not working for me, I need something that's more flexible, or I need something that's more heat resistant. Then you can start branching out into other stuff.
Okay, filaments. Okay, other filament question. Again, this is coming. I know nothing about 3D printing. Does it matter what brand I buy?
It kind of does.
Okay.
Different brands will have slightly different characteristics. So not every PLA plastic will print at the exact same temperature.
Oh, different chemical characteristics of the plastic.
Exactly. And I think that, again, comes back to whatever they're alloying into it. Depending on what their proprietary mix is, you might have to adjust it. Luckily, it's usually printed right on, like see this spool right here says 220 to 230 degrees Celsius. So that's the print. So usually it's very clear like what it is, but usually they give you a range too. So you might have to play around with it a little bit. You might do a print and be like, oh, this is not as clean as I would like it to be. So I'll try bumping up the temperature 5 degrees and see if that makes it any better. Or bumping it down 5 degrees.
So the temperature would be like an input, when a user input when I go to print. It's just like, okay, it's like selecting your paper size on your printer.
Exactly. So when you so the first thing you'll do is you go in Fusion, you'll create a model of whatever you want to print. Then you're going to go File 3D Print, and it's going to send it to the software for your 3D printer. That's called a slicer.
Software is the slicer. Okay.
So the slicer will take your 3D model and slice it into many thin layers that the 3D printer can then print, right? And within this slicer, you tell it what filament or what plastic you're printing with and what settings you want it to print at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does each 3D printer, is this Creality thing, does it have its own slicer?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Could I use a different slicer on this thing?
You could. I mean, it depends how, again, because I don't have it in my hand. I don't know how locked down it is.
Okay.
But the Bamboo Labs slicer that I use for my Bamboo Labs printers, I've noticed there's a little setting in there where you can set it to run a Creality Ender 3D printer. So they are compatible across.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
So
I think
holding up that. Oh,
what?
Go ahead.
No, you go there.
I was gonna say you're holding up that roll of filament there, and it says the temperature in Celsius.
Yeah.
Now, whenever Eric gets them here in the States, is it going to show it in freedom units, or is it still going to be in metric?
Oh,
that's a good question. I would suspect it might actually be in Celsius. You guys, you might have to do a little bit of metric learning.
Some math.
I honestly, when I do a lot of my 3D models now, I'm normally like an inches and feet type of guy. But when I've been doing the 3D models, I've been working a lot in millimeters and centimeters.
Because you use calipers, right?
Exactly. And I mean, calipers, it's the smaller units thing. Once you start I don't know, millimeters is effective for small measurements, I find. It's just more intuitive to me.
This was 0.01 1 to 7 inches. This is like,
Yeah, or
stop
it could be
dicking around with this.
yeah, or it could be 1.25 millimeters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I am almost finished with my. Actually, I finished the design portion of that class, the Fusion 360 class. I was telling
Yeah.
you
Thank you
about.
for sending that to me, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on the one now where it's just like, okay, you've designed something. Now, how do we like get all these dimension drawings and stuff out of it? Because I think it'll be really helpful to be able to like make my own woodworking plans
Yeah.
in Fusion. That
Yeah.
I believe if I then go change the size of one board, it automatically updates the plans as well.
Ooh, is that a feature?
Is that
they
right,
have?
Derek?
I think so. Yeah, like if you set it up right, then you can have it. You can have a list of all the components and their sizes.
Yeah, and like the
Cool.
drawing workspace, I think is what it's called, where like you can do orthographic views and like dimension them and like put text boxes in places and stuff like that. I just started that lesson, so I'm not through it, but it appears that you can do that.
I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit more.
Yeah. Have you jumped in that class yet, or did you poke around in it?
I haven't yet. No,
Yeah.
I
check
will
it out.
soon because
See if you can-
so I just finished doing my my coffee table build, and I
Mhm.
was thinking I should make a set of plans for it. I did model it all in Fusion 360,
Mm.
so I think I might jump into that course and and make a set of plans that I sell on my Etsy store.
It's not a bad idea. I've also considered. Do you remember the Brett Cope that we met at Workbench Con? The guy that did all the
yeah.
plans, the architect
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I've considered just calling him and be like, "Hey, dude, can I pay you like $200 or something? I don't know, whatever fair sum of money, and like, can I basically like I model the thing in Fusion?
And then
Can
just
we
fire
jump
that
on a
off.
call?" And can you like show me how you would make the plans? And because if he does it all the time, I'm sure he has some great best practices.
True. Might not want to share those with you though.
You're absolutely right. But it's just like I like to make that for myself,
Yeah.
and I know I should outsource it, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I wonder.
not
I should
there
look
yet.
on like Upwork and Fiverr and see if there's any guys out there. Be like, hey, if I send you a Fusion 360 file and also like this video of me making the thing, can you create a set of plans for me?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I like to have the plans immediately ready for purchase when the video goes live, because
I know.
how many
Yeah.
people are like,
I know.
"Oh, that was a dope project. I'll come back in 3 weeks and see if the
no,
plans are ready."
literally nobody ever.
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no,
do
you
find
have to
plans
have
worth
it.
it.
Do I what?
Do you find the plans worth the time investment to make and then turn around and sell?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On projects that go well, oh absolutely.
Oh,
I still have
okay.
ones like, do my cornhole boards, I still sell, I don't know, 5 to 10 of those a month. And then in the summer they go like 10, 20, 30 a month. And it's a
Wow.
project that I did 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Paying dividends.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things like you can look up the dimensions for cornhole boards, no problem. But if it's like, okay, I watched this video, maybe I like the way this guy did this, I'll just get it. Like I'm here. Like I'll just download it and be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find it, but also I have some that I have never sold a single plan.
Right.
So if you make one plan and then get mad that you're not selling anything, like you got to make a lot. It's kind of like YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I've been selling some stuff through my Etsy store, and it hasn't been like, it's been going okay. Like, I get a few sales here and there, but it hasn't
Sure.
been gangbusters or anything like that. And I'm wondering, like, okay, is that just because these are just my first couple things that I've sold on there?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to kind of have a little bit of an established track record before people are willing to buy stuff from me?
I mean, it probably doesn't hurt on Etsy. Like if people go to your store and it says 2 sales, people are like,
Exactly,
know,
right?
but if they're
So-
He's
like,
been out
oh.
for 2 years. He's only got 2 sales.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I also think that you have a little bit of an established like credential as far as like, oh, this guy's got like 100, 200,000 YouTube subs, like I know this guy and it's just his Etsy store. Like I would trust that way more than just like me stumbling upon your store and be like, oh, 2 sales. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you mention your channel on your store?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my store is pretty bare bones right now. It's got like 3 listings. I don't know if I've even completed like the profile or anything like that, because I was just assuming all my sales would just come from YouTube referrals.
Yeah. I have all of my plans up on my Etsy. And I truly think the only one that 99% of my Etsy sales are for the flip top tool cart.
Right.
But I have all of my other plans on there. But I don't know. I sell maybe 3 to 5 plans a month on Etsy. Like it's not much, but it's still like
it's still worth
covers
it,
some
right.
expenses, right?
Yeah, totally. All those nitro gloves in the shop, right?
All those nitrile gloves, baby. I'm gonna reuse them.
Plans,
yeah.
Of all your plans, would you say there's any specific style or type that stands out and sells better than others, like shop projects versus
shop projects, hands down.
Shop projects,
yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And that pricing template is just still goes to the moon.
Oh yeah,
nice. Okay, so should I bother to make a set of plans for this coffee table then?
Couldn't hurt.
I mean,
couldn't hurt, but it's time, right?
That's true.
You're absolutely right. But you never know. Like I have some pieces of furniture that do really well, but shop projects definitely do the best. But so you're talking about this is like that tech coffee table or whatever, right?
Yeah, I actually spent all day today setting it up, and I was it's getting very frustrated by the end of it. But yeah, it's got a whole bunch of stuff crammed into it.
Let's be real about this. It's a dope project. I think it's going to do really well. How many people are going to want to build that?
Yeah,
very few.
Right.
And
so that's why.
If you simplified those plans and removed all the electronic components and just made it a coffee table, would it be something that people would be interested in building on its own?
I mean, it would be kind of like it's storage, right? Like if you took out all the electronics in it, it's basically a box with lift top that you can put, whatever magazines or doilies or whatever the hell people put underneath their coffee table.
Feet photos,
yeah.
I don't know. I think you could be like, I made the plans to make this box, coffee table, but I am customizing it to the ultimate home theater coffee table. You don't have to be like, okay, here's where I put this power outlet and here's where I snake this cord through. Like no one's going to give a shit about that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. And it's kind of a multidisciplinary project too, because like the bottom of it, like the bottom panel, I have all these like cutouts for wires and stuff, and I cut it all in the CNC. So automatically, like I feel like I'm alienating a large portion of people there. But at the same time, you could also just, rather than using a CNC, you could just use a hole saw and skip the LED lighting that I integrated into the bottom of it and whatever.
See, this is where I kind of get hung up on the idea of, for very broad sweeping projects like a flip top tool cart or a clamp rack, I should do plans, like traditional woodworking plans for those. But for more specific project, do I go into like almost a video course that teaches you how to do it, so that I know that I'm going to have, like, you're going to have substantially less people want to build this multimedia coffee table. But of the folks that are interested in it, would those people pay a significantly larger amount of money to get even more direction, almost where you do like a 30-minute YouTube video, but then you do like a 2.5 hour long video course?
Yeah, I actually did think about doing that in the early days of my YouTube career. I thought I might have like a short version and a long version of every video. Like I would have like a short one that's like the fun to watch one, and then I would have the long one where I'd be like, I cut this piece to 24 inches long by an inch and a half, where it's like very specific.
Like what Mark Spagnuolo does.
Does he do that?
Yeah, that's his like his woodworking courses things.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And same with Chris from Four Eyes Furniture.
Right.
He does that as well. Like he does like the 20, 30-minute YouTube cut, but then we'll do like a 2 or 3 hour long video course where again, it goes through like this was cut to 31.5 inches and you have to make sure to put this bevel on here and like,
yeah.
But you know, these courses are like $100-$200.
Really? Okay. I wonder what the conversion rate is. Like, you know, if you get if you have a couple 100,000 people watch your video, do you get, 20 people who are willing to 100 are willing to spend a couple $100 on it? I would be interested to know.
I don't know. But there's so much time that goes into that ahead of time.
Dude, oh yeah. Like I'm getting stressed out thinking about like recording a different set of voiceovers that go more in depth into, and then you'd have to film things differently too, right? Like every cut you make has to be filmed. Like when I was making this coffee table, I get like 5 or 6 clips of me cutting and be like, that's good enough. Like
Right.
Yeah.
You get the gist.
Yeah, you get the gist, right? Like,
It's
and then I went to
tough.
my table saw and cut these pieces. Like I just need enough clips to cover that.
It's a weird balance because the plans definitely do work out, but again, it kind of gets us back to that thing of like, are you wasting time doing it, or like, how can you maximize the effort and like time that you put in and maximize the best return out of that?
Yeah. I know.
I don't think anyone has the right answer. I think it's something that you have to constantly tweak and work on and see just what works for you.
That's why I was thinking, I would be much more into having somebody else do it, and I'd be willing to take like the financial hit. Like even if I had to pay somebody $500-$600 to make a set of plans for me, at least run one as a trial and see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And this also gets to the advice that we always give people. Do you want to do that? Like, would you have fun and pleasure in making that? Or does it sound like an absolute drag to do?
Yeah.
Be honest. Like, would you want to make a 3-hour video course on that table?
That kind of sounds like a drag to me.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah.
If it's a chore, you're going to give
Good
up
advice.
on it, or it's going to take way too long.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like my second YouTube channel where I did the shop only sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make another one of those videos.
Oh,
But it's still up there.
It's still up there. Are you getting much traction on that channel?
I have
haven't
no
checked in a
idea.
while.
I haven't checked it in months.
You got it monetized pretty quickly, though, didn't you?
I don't think I have enough watch hours.
Oh, okay. Maybe you got
I've
up to the subscriber thing quickly.
5,600 subscribers,
Okay.
and I'm only at 1,400 watch hours. So I'm like a quarter of the way on the watch hours.
When you were doing the cuts with just shop sounds, would you make the videos longer?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
just like background noise, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Apparently, I uploaded one 8 days ago. I don't know. No, I guess I did did my mobile bandsaw cart a month ago, but that only got 274 views. And then I did my dining table one 3 months ago at 390 views. But then I did some other ones when I first started the channel. They got like 4,500, 2.7 thousand, 7.2 thousand.
Yeah,
But it's mostly
not bad
just a bunch of shorts on there.
I see. Yeah, look, Dirk's got pulled up right now. So you have 5 full-length videos?
Yeah, 5 full-length videos. I got a boatload of shorts, and some of the shorts do pretty well. It's just like they don't pay you for it. So I was like,
yeah.
and to be honest with you, like I really wasn't enjoying it. So I was like,
there you go.
I don't know. I'm not going to delete it. Like, I mean, that's some good traction to start with.
Yeah.
It's just,
I thought you were just reposting them without the track over you talking over it.
that's not a bad idea. But see, the problem is, would you just have it totally silent, or do I just find some like generic music and just play the music over it?
I don't know.
you would
Music
go-
is kind of polarizing sometimes. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people just want to hear the shop sounds.
Yeah.
But what if
that's
what if I don't have the shop sounds? Then I have to
I know,
pull it
that's-
from another clip, and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. That
So
happens
you don't
to me
mute
quite
them
a
on
bit.
on your timeline. You don't mute those shots of you cutting things, or you just strip
No,
the audio out of
sometimes
it?
sometimes I'll switch. I try to plug in my shotgun mic when
Ah.
so like if I would accidentally like do something and be like, oh crap, like oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it would capture
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But then usually then I'll like swap the little cord over from the shotgun mic, which everybody listening is like a big mic that you put on top of your camera that just catches
Looks like a
all
gun.
of the noise in the area. Yeah, it's directional. And then I'll take the cord from that and plug it into my wireless receiver that I clip onto my shirt to like talk and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'll forget to swap the cord back over to the shotgun mic, so I'll have like half of a video that just has no ambient noise.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, how do I do a shop only, tool only noise video?
Yeah.
Without that.
Yeah. I do that a lot. I'm so lazy. I don't even do the shotgun mic. Like if I'm just going to get tool sounds, I'll just unplug my like wireless transmitter and just use the
Because it's
built-in.
good enough, right?
It's for shop sounds. It's like, okay, you don't need the best audio quality to get the sound of a table saw, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess worst case scenario, even if it was like you're filming yourself, I don't know, pouring epoxy, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's spilling, it's spilling. Like you could still know what was going on and like hear it. And like if it was bad audio, it's like, okay, I know that Zach didn't plan this, and like
Exactly, yeah.
I can get over that.
Actually,
What
make
would you
them
say-
funnier and realer in one way.
Right.
What would you say is probably the best mic for picking up those shop sounds?
Honestly, dude, I've just
I don't
rocked
think
the
it matters.
lavalier mic. I never use a shotgun mic these days. Like, cause you're always pretty
lavalier
close
picks
to
it
the
up pretty good?
tool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
true.
like it's like the same distance from your face to the tool, or relatively speaking, it's pretty close.
My shotgun mic, I've noticed sometimes, and maybe it's the interference from my camera, but sometimes I hear like click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click, click. Is that like your camera's giving off like Bluetooth or something like that?
I had a camera. I don't know if my current one does it, but I had a camera that had Bluetooth, and whenever I had the Bluetooth turned on, I would pick up interference that sounded exactly like that on the shotgun mic.
Huh.
Yeah,
I think it makes me not feel crazy, I suppose.
yeah. Just turn off the Bluetooth on your camera. And you know what? It was a Panasonic camera that I had that would do that. So yeah.
It was the cheap Rode one anyway. It was like what I had first got when I started filming on my iPhone, and like then he had to get some weird cord to like connect to the iPhone with that. And it was
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
Those are the days when you started, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got exciting news. I guess it's kind of exciting. I'm getting a that Harvey bandsaw and dust collector
Cool.
thing next month.
Is it the dust collector huge, or do they have a smaller one?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. You didn't even. You just. You
I didn't
accepted
measure
the
it.
tool without even looking at how big it was.
Sure did.
Where are you gonna put it?
I don't know.
Okay.
gonna rent
all
out the
right.
I don't
Garage
even
next
know
to
if I
it.
can turn it on.
Yeah, it might be like 220.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. All right. Well, at least you got the Jackery thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to see if it runs off of that, and if not, well,
Find out. That'd be kind of cool if it did, because you don't always need dust collection for that long. So if you just ran the dust collection off the Jackery,
dude, I've been running my planer off the Jackery.
yeah.
It runs better off the
Really?
Jackery than it does.
Because it can
Huh.
it can peak more.
Right. Because it's
Yeah,
the
wow.
only thing running off of that. And dude, I could run it for, I don't know, probably, no exaggeration, 2 hours on that Jackery.
That's pretty crazy.
That thing is nuts. But how is
Yeah.
the Jackery expensive?
Yeah, I think I looked into it once before. I think it's like $1,000 or something.
What?
I think so.
Yeah.
Let me-
No.
They're pricey.
I got
It-
the 3000 Pro or Plus or something.
Not
Uh,
everybody gets one sent to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it
Let's
really
see.
that? I thought it was like $300 or $400.
Oh,
No.
4Gs.
Wow.
Canadian.
$4,000?
For the 3000 Pro portable power station.
No wonder they sponsor so many YouTube videos. If they sell one of them, they clean up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably making pretty good margins. Look at that. It's got a 220 thing right on it.
Yeah, it has it. Okay, wait,
Yeah.
just
3,000 with
that's
solar,
4,000
$4,000.
Canadian.
Yeah. So
No,
what
that's
is it?
4,000 US.
Oh, really?
No, I think
Oh,
is
that
one
that
for
comes
the
with some like
panels?
solar
that comes with the
panels.
solar panels.
Yeah, this one comes with solar panels.
I just
see.
have like the unit thingy, and it's
Don't you have, like, a-
$2,800.
I thought you had like a little extension pack for it too.
I got the battery too, but I don't use it because the cord's too thick.
So the
That's what she
3,000 is 2,800.
Oh my god! So can this run 220 volts? It has the plug for it. Do you think
It's got
it'll?
that plug. It must.
Do you think it'll work for
Must.
running a dust collector? All right,
Yeah,
I
why
gotta
not?
know.
Tech specs.
Because that's what I want to know. I'm like, if I get this, will it work? Because that'd be really awkward if I get it and then Harvey's like, "Can you make some can you make some videos of you using it?" And I'm like,
Nope.
"Nope, I can't."
Well, on here it says
Um,
the AC output is 120 volts, 60 hertz, 25 amps
Uh-huh.
max. AC output is 120 volts, 60 hertz, 20 amps max. So those are two different. That.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't do 220.
Yeah,
But it's
it
got the
doesn't say it does.
220 plug right there on the front of it.
Yeah, it's got
Doesn't
it.
it?
So that's number 6. They list that as an AC output. That's the one that only goes to 120.
Is that like a
Oh.
25 amp plug?
It's a 25 amp, and the other ones are 20. So that's the difference.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
So the answer is no. I can't turn.
I wonder,
You
can you
try?
get a transformer that'll transform 120 to 220, or 110 to 220? Like you wouldn't
I
get
don't
the
think
same
it
amount of
works like
amps,
that.
but you might not need it.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Frequently asked questions.
I mean, you better believe I'm going to try plugging it in and see what happens.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, they do make little transformers, so I think you probably drop some. You probably drop some amps. But
So
you
what
could
is
do
is
it.
this something I basically would plug into the Jackery and then plug the dust collector into this thingy?
Yeah.
How much does
correct.
one of those bad boys run me?
I'm looking at one on Amazon right now that's $100 Canadian.
No, okay.
So
Send me the
that's not too
link.
bad.
I'll check it out.
I will post it in the chat.
If
But
you're
see,
wondering,
Well, go ahead.
there's an FAQ, and then one of the questions is this fireproof? And their answer is the outermost case of our product is made from a fireproof material, UL94 V0.
Okay.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll be
You
honest.
got to
it
test
does-
that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I set a Jackery on fire. This video is sponsored by Jackery.
Yeah, great. Just make a big bonfire and toss it in and see what happens.
Oh, they would not be happy about that. But it does. It does kind
You
of
get
freak me out to
sponsored
have
by the Smokeless Pit guys.
Yeah,
that. Oh, the
exactly.
smokeless pit, the solo stove guys.
Yeah.
Solo stuff.
It does worry me a little bit to have that like big ass battery fully charged just cooking out there in the garage, where it's like
Yeah.
100 degrees.
Although their promotional material here, it's got like pictures of it in the desert.
Yeah,
Let's
and it's not like it's under direct sunlight.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. They had like a temperature range. Oh no, they just said it's resilient and cold to -20. But they don't have an upward limit on that.
Dude, that thing is heavy though. I mean, it's got to be
Dude, it's probably just a brick of lithium.
50, 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it has wheels and a handle to give you an idea
that's
of how
crazy.
heavy it is.
How much is the cheaper one?
I don't know.
God, man, they're all pretty expensive.
They got a bunch of them, and the best thing is they're not like a non-compete. So you could do like an EcoFlow, a Jackery, You could
almost
do
10
all
month.
of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
get the 290 for 250.
Okay. That's more in my price range.
That looks like you'd run like you like charge some phones and stuff off of it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
some
got a small
lights.
plug.
Yeah.
A 110 volt plug.
Okay. You could charge your laptop, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good for like camping though.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think the one I have, you're supposed to be able to run like an RV off of it.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of glamping. I've never actually done it, but like, going out somewhere with a big tent and then bring like a margarita mixer, TV, a boombox.
You've seen Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
Where Tom goes to the camping, he has like the TV and the couch and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, I almost forgot to remind people that was a bad segue. Okay, we have new patrons this week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, a Rigid fan, Seth
Hell yeah.
Keedle.
I saw that.
Which, if
Actually,
I'm
was.
not mistaken, I've heard that name on other woodworking podcasts, and I couldn't tell you which one.
Interesting.
So, what a gentleman
Yeah.
for supporting
the community.
multiple people in the community. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Seth.
that. Yeah, thanks, Seth. We also have a returning top tier patrons, Brooke Appler at Grizzly Bear Woodworks, Dadu, who said that he just got his shirt in the mail.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Luke Schmidt, Corey Duvall, Jason Price at Priceless Pro Designs, Scott Eastman at EC's Woodshop, and of course, the Power Cocker, formerly known as Wes.
Hallelujah.
And those are our top tier patrons, and just some of the patrons that have unlocked the after show.
Great verbiage. Is that a verb?
Sure.
Unlocked. Yes, I think. I failed
Descriptor.
English.
Which is where we are headed now.
That's right. See everybody.
We got anything else to say? Is that it?
Send us some questions, patrons. Please send us some questions. This might be a short after show because we are running a little bit low. And send us your woodworking questions too. It doesn't have to just be would you rathers.
Yeah. What do you
I'll have your 240 volt Jackery answer in the after show.
Oh,
Is that what I think it is on screen right now? Okay.
Oh.
Turns out you just wire two of them together.
He didn't say it.
I got
Go to
some. I have some
patreon.com/OffCut
grievances that I want.
podcast to unlock the after show now.
That's right. In Discord.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
See you, everybody. Peace out.